For millions of pet owners, adopting a pet from a local animal shelter or organization is the most fulfilling experience. It is one of those moments that stays with you forever. That pleading, get me out of here face you can't resist, those take me with you eyes, and the feel good emotions you wear as you walk out of the door, because after all, you've just saved a life. 2 weeks ago, I became one of those pet owners and can identify with those feelings. My wife and I were taking a stroll through a shopping center and came upon an adorable cat sitting in a pet supply store window. He was black and white with the greenest eyes and was up for adoption with the Willamette Humane Society. My wife immediately fell in love with him, and I wasn't too far behind. A couple of days later, after lots of research and discussion, we went back in with the intention of adopting him. When we lifted him into our arms for the first time and were greeted by cuddles and purrs, we knew he was meant for us, and we took him home the same day. In the past, my wife and I discussed purchasing a purebred boxer puppy from a breeder someday. We were willing to shell out hundreds of dollars for a purebred puppy, and to get it spayed or neutered, get it shots, and have it microchipped. Now that I am a cat owner by adoption, the topic of adoption versus purchasing an animal from a pet store or breeder hits closer to home, and I'm not the only one interested in this topic. For example, a Utah-based animal shelter called Best Friends Animal Sanctuary has surveyed other young people from ages 18 to 34 on this subject. According to this survey, only 31% of young people are likely to consider a shelter adoption. They often think that adoptable pets are damaged goods, or they think they can only find mixed breeds there. However, an estimated 25% of shelter dogs are purebreds, according to the Humane Society of the United States, and many rescue groups focus on a specific breed like Siamese cats and German Shepherd dogs. Many of the pets posted on pet adoption websites are in foster care. Foster parents live with these pets 24/7 and can tell you in detail about the pet's personality and habits. If this pet is at a shelter, the staff or volunteers may be able to tell you what he or she is like. At the very least, you can ask the staff if the pet was an owner surrender rather than a stray, and if so, what the former owner said about him or her. Quite often, pets are given up because the owner faced financial or housing issues. You can also ask about the health and the behavioral evaluations the pet has undergone since arriving at the shelter. In contrast, pet store owners rarely have an idea of what a pet will be like in the home. I was given documents on my cat that gave medical and behavioral information on him. He was already neutered, up to date in his shots, and microchipped. He had a history of not dealing well with other cats in the same home, but loved all ages of people, playing with toys, and cuddling. A common misconception is that pets are in shelters because they didn't make good pets. In fact, the main reasons pets are given up include owners are moving to housing that don't allow pets, allergies, owner having personal problems, too many or no room for litter mates, owner can no longer afford the pet, owner no longer has the time for the pet, and the animal was an unwanted gift from a friend or family member. In fact, this category makes up for 30% of pets surrendered to shelters, according to the National Council on Pet Population Study and Policy. As you can see, these reasons all relate to the owner of the living space and not the pet itself. A benefit of adopting a pet versus getting a free pet or buying from a breeder is that you're not responsible for veterinary costs that shelters and rescue groups usually cover, which include spaying and neutering, which costs up to $300, distemper vaccination, which is $20 to $30, rabies vaccination costing $15 to $25, heartworm tests, $15 to $35, flea and tick treatment, $50 to $200, and microchips, which are $50. Pet rescue groups and shelters also offer assistance for neutering and spaying, as well as vet visits so that future owners can save money and make it easier to adopt a pet. There are at least 15 non-killing shelters within the state of Oregon that all offer assistance for veterinary costs and help give pets a new home. Because it was a cost-effective and simple process, adopting our cat was an easy decision for my wife and me. We were surprised by how much information was available to us about this cat and how quickly he adapted to his new home, although he had previously lived with another family and in a shelter. Though the idea of adopting might be daunting or unappealing, there is so much to take into account. It saves money, sometimes up to hundreds of dollars, reduces the animal population because you are supporting an organization that spays and neuters animals that come into its care. But most importantly, you may be saving the life of an animal that has been in a shelter for a while, or giving an older pet a second chance at finding a loving home. So.